Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Bell. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So we've called the meeting to order. We'll get started with the Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Scar, good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Olson. Do we have Commissioner Olson with us this morning? Well, maybe he's having trouble getting unmuted, so we'll just hop in and come back to him. I heard from Eric Swanson, president of Adventist Health Tillamook, that he is not with us this week. He's at the corporate offices, so we'll jump right in with the Coastal Caucus. Senator Weber, are you with us this morning?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Haven't we had a wonderful week, though?
Yes,
I mean, the
beautiful.
sun rises, the sun sets, and everything in between. It's been gorgeous. It just makes your fingers itch to get out there and dig in the dirt, doesn't it?
I agree.
I've had a very busy week. But before I get started on that, I just wanted to say that the Legislative Policy and Research Office, which is commonly referred to as LPRO, has put out the summaries of all the legislation passed in the 24 short session. And you can go to the Oregon legislature and find all of the bills that were passed, either by bill number or by area of concern. And it has an interactive dashboard so that you can find what you need. But if you're interested in particular bills, that's where you need to go, to the Oregon Policy and Research Office of the Oregon Legislative Government page. It's very interesting to go through. They have done a wonderful job of summarizing what happened during the session. So if you're interested, go look. It's one of those things that once you start through it, you'll probably spend a little time learning about what exactly some of these bills and how they're going to impact our lives.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
It is, and people ask, well, what happened with this bill? So it is really important. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes, and the other thing is, I get a lot of emails from people telling me what to vote for. And, they'll say, vote on something that is of national concern. And I don't have the opportunity to weigh in on those.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are organizations that will put out form letters for people to send to you. And you'll get 49, 50, 100 of the same letter from people. And then people will accost you and say, you never answered my email. Well, I can't answer 100 of exactly the same emails when I know that they came out of a can somewhere. And so please be mindful of that. If you're sending me emails, personalize them. I mean, you don't have to be happy with me and what I've done, but at least it needs to be your own thoughts and your own ideas, and I would appreciate that. And I think that this gives you a good opportunity to know exactly what was passed. So thank you, Commissioner Bell. The other thing we're working on is the Economic Summit for the coast that the Coastal Caucus is putting together on May 8th. And it is going to address a wide, it's just one day, but it's going to address a wide group of concerns for our coast. And the registration is free. You just come. especially if you are an elected official and want to know what's happening on our coast, in our state economically. It is a good thing for you to participate in. You know, we used to do these. I attended several of them when I was the mayor, and they are an invaluable resource for finding out exactly what is happening economically on our coast. And we know that we have a county group with economic development that is very progressive and very informed and does wonderful work. But this is how it can reach out to the rest of the state. And the other thing that is going to be dealt with is resiliency and how we're going to be impacted by issues that we may not have under our control, like storms and tsunamis and earthquakes and things like that. So I think that, especially if you're an elected official, that you should pay attention to this and plan on participating. Representative Javity, I don't know if he's going to be able to be here this morning because he had a very early morning appointment, but he and I have been working together on several constituent concerns, and some of these concerns are so deep that they need both of our attention. And so we're both working really hard, especially for the people of our district. This week I had a meeting with the Port of Garibaldi and learned even more about the challenges that they're facing and their need for additional funds to be able to dredge and to repair the docks. And it was a very productive meeting, and I really appreciate it. I also met with constituents in Banks and with Seaside, and rather than having town halls, I'm making appointments with people in those areas, and we have sat down and had some really good meetings on things that are especially apply to those areas. Also this week, I had the opportunity to sit down and have coffee with the mayor of Manzanita, and especially commend her for all of the good work that she is doing, and to Councillor Kozlowski too, for what is happening in Manzanita moving forward. They're doing a great job up there, and it's really turning out well, especially their new city hall. Yes, it was 30 years in the making, but yes, it's going to happen. I'm also working once again on all of the task forces that I have taken on, either by assignment from the governor or by the president of the Senate. And we're working right now on chronic absenteeism in our schools. And it is an extensive task force, and I am happy to say that our Tillamook superintendent is a member of this task force, and what he's going to be able to bring to the table is going to be very valuable, especially for rural and small schools. And so I really appreciate his willingness to be able to do that. I'm also working on the governor's early literacy preparation council, and that was a lengthy meeting yesterday to talk about, when we're teaching reading, what are we teaching? What are our goals? What are our aspirations? What are we teaching our teacher candidates? That's important. And then how, after all of this framework is built, how are we going to then present it to the teachers that have already been there for a long time and to our administrators? So it's a pretty, it's a crazy task to be able to put everything together to make it work. But there are a lot of dedicated people working on literacy especially. And it's because we have seen such a drop in our kids learning, and we need to catch up. We need to be on top of this. And so, and that was one of the governor's initiatives in the last long session. I'm also working today on the Oregon Hunger Task Force, and that is also something that is taking a lot of work. I want you to remember that April 30th is coming, and the most important voice you have is your vote. And if you haven't registered to vote, or if you want to change your party affiliation, April 30th is the date to do that. Because after that time, it's the ballots are going to be coming out, and you want one of those ballots. You want your voice to be heard. And so I want to encourage you, especially if you have not registered, and if you want to change your party affiliation, April 30th is your deadline. So please consider that. I also wanted to tell you that I attended the Education Foundation dinner this week, and education is one of our most important infrastructure items. We've got roads and we've got sewer and we've got water, but the most important thing we have is our children, and that's what we have to be able to support. And the Education Foundation is very instrumental in grant administration, especially. And so we had a very successful dinner on Saturday night, and there will be another one in the fall. And you will see their work when all of the scholarships are handed out or dispersed or awarded just before school is out. And any help on that is also appreciated. And I think I had one more thing, but once I get going, I can't stop here with things I need to tell you. But, I know what it is. I have been getting a lot of emails concerning scams, and there are a whole batch of new scam artists out there. So really watch out. Don't give your numbers to anybody. If your telephone tells you that it's most likely a scam alert, don't answer the phone, because it's incredible what these people are able to learn about you when you have never been in contact with them ever, and you think that what you have is secure. Be careful, because it's not secure. They have found ways around this. And once again, my grandson is in jail in Mexico, and I'm needed to send money to for gift cards. Gift cards especially will help him get out of jail. And I have to laugh at these people because he just celebrated his 10th birthday. He's not in jail in Mexico. So there you go. I think I've covered it all, and I hope that Representative Javity can join us, but I worry that he won't be able to. So thank you.
Thank
great
you,
day.
Senator. Oh, thank you so much. I was chuckling about your grandson is in jail in Mexico, and so send gift cards, because I've gotten some of those too, and especially like, oh, you owe money, but you can pay it off right now with gift cards, and it's outrageous. The crooks never sleep. So
yes,
I
and
appreciate.
The other thing is, they send you an email telling you that you owe $250 or something to the Geek Squad of something or other, and you think, oh my gosh, and so they start hounding you on that until you respond, and it's just a natural human. We just respond when people ask us these things. And so amazingly enough, one gentleman responded to that, and they said, well, we don't have an account for you. You'll have to, if you want to take care of this, you have to establish an account. So he established an account. I mean, completely naive to this $250 that he owed, and suddenly it was $25,000, and they were going to be sending the officials. And as he was naive about this, and they emptied his all of his accounts. They emptied his savings accounts. And then they had him, because he was still owing $1,700, go out and borrow money and buy $1,700 worth of gift cards.
Wow. It's
And,
terrible.
I mean, and by the time he realized this, I mean, he had nothing.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
horrible.
you really have to be careful.
Yeah, and of course it's
Thank you.
honest people who fall for these things.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's very sad.
Wouldn't
Well,
it be
thank you for that.
wonderful? Wouldn't it be wonderful if all of this effort that's put into scamming people was put into world peace? Just think where we'd be today.
Yes, it would be wonderful. Or just improving our own community. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, good grief. Yeah, I probably get a couple of scam emails a day between the multiple email accounts that I manage. Probably at least a couple a day. It's wild. Well, it's an industry. It's an industry of people trying to cheat people. And so we
Yes.
just have to be so vigilant.
Yes, we do.
Well, I was interested in everything you said, but a couple things you said I wanted to ask you more about. One was at the beginning of your talk, you were talking about when constituents communicate with you and they're passing along some information or messaging that they got from another organization, like use this to communicate with your legislators. And I just want to talk about that for a minute, because we get those, commissioners get those sometimes too, like we'll get a raft of emails from a bunch of people, but it's all the same language, and sometimes you can even see it's cut and pasted from the same document, and so I wondered how you process those things, because they're when we get them, I feel like, okay, well, these are messages from my constituents, but if they're all the same message, and I understand that the message, whatever it is coming from somewhere else, maybe outside of our community, like people are being organized to do and say these things, but it isn't actually a local grassroots effort, then it holds, it's less impactful to me. Not that I'm ignoring people's emails, but it's less impactful to me than a personal email of someone saying, this is my situation, or this is my problem or concern or whatever, that I know is personal and I know is local. And so, there isn't a real ranking system, but for sure, I pay more attention to things that are personal and local. So I just wonder if you could talk about that for a minute. How do you process them?
Well, I have a person who goes through, and once I realize that it's a canned email, I don't always respond to them. And that's probably unfortunate, because people don't realize how many of these I'm getting. But we take and we put them in a file, and then we build a response if it is something that, a lot of the things don't even apply to what I am able to do. And so then, we craft a reply if it's something that we can do something about, and then send it out to each one of these people. But all of that takes time and effort and energy for something that we may not be able to do anything about. And it's, I think it's sad that people have not done their research to find out how many others are going to be doing this, and that flooding someone's email box isn't necessarily going to make them pay attention or listen to their concern. It's not, you read one and then, okay, then the next one comes in, and it comes usually right after. And then the next one comes right after that. And so by the time you get to 49, you've got the idea, what these folks are concerned about, and you appreciate the fact that they have taken the time to email you. But sometimes it's for naught. It's for something that we have no control over, no ability to influence. And so I think it's sad when people are, go down that hole thinking that their legislator or their senator is going to be able to do something about something that they have no control over. So I think that before people decide to do this, they should research exactly what's in that letter, what that letter says, and how it's really going to impact them. because a lot of it isn't going to make any kind of a difference in what the person receiving the email is going to be able to do.
Excellent points. Thank you. I also wanted to ask you a little bit more about the Oregon Coastal Economic Summit. That sounds very interesting. It's not on my calendar. I am interested in it. I wonder if we commissioners just look that up. Do we need an invitation?
I will make sure that you have that information.
Thank you. Thank you.
May I chime in? Can I chime in
Please.
quickly on that one? So Senator,
Please
thank you
do.
so much for that. I think you said it's May 8th. Is that correct?
Yes. May 8th at
Unfortunately,
Chinook Winds, and it starts at 7 o'clock in the morning.
okay. Unfortunately, we commissioners have a budget hearing that day, as well as our regular and standing commissioner meeting. So it's going to make it a little tricky for us to participate. Will there be information that comes out after that both we and the community can access?
I believe so. I'll make sure.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm so sorry that it looks like we probably will not be able to attend, but it's a great meeting. I know it has been in years past, and we'll look forward to hearing the depth of conversation and any great ideas for moving forward. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
The last thing I wanted to mention, Senator, was you were talking about meeting with the Port of Garibaldi, and I'm so grateful that you're meeting with them and working on the dredging issues with them. I've also had conversations with them, and they're just in a real predicament because the Port of Garibaldi, of course, is essential to our fishing economy, our recreation economy, to a lot of commercial fishermen, recreational fishermen, and just people who live and retire here because they want to fish. You know, it's very important to our community and to our culture. And it's expensive. It's expensive to dredge. And so I've learned recently that when it needs to be dredged, the organization that does the work most economically, most cheaply is the state itself. The state has the best price for doing the work.
Yes, because the state has a dredge. It just needs to move up the coast and be able to work here. But there's other things. There's a permit that needs to be applied for. It costs about $250,000 to start this work. It's having to get loans and then being able to prove that you can pay them back to be able to do it. And then, too, we've also got the South Jetty that's going to be under construction soon, too. And so we've got a lot of things that are playing into dredging and the health of our port.
Absolutely. And it's something I'd like to talk with you about further, maybe offline, because I think there's some work to be done legislatively, some work to be done at the state to address the system itself, where we were just saying that the state has a dredge and the state can do the work more inexpensive. It's not inexpensive, but it's less expensive than a private organization. So the state has the best price to do the work. The state also provides the loan to do the work. So the Port of Garibaldi is applying to the state for a loan for the state to do the work. And the state is requiring the Port of Garibaldi to jump through all of these hoops to qualify for the loan, et cetera, et cetera. But all of this is about economic development. So it seems like there could be improvements to this system if the state's doing the work, but they have to borrow the money from the state, but the state isn't sure they want to loan the money. There should be some improvements to the system that commits those dollars for economic development, because that's what it's about.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
So let's talk about that more.
Let's talk about that, because, we need to look at the health of all of our ports up and down the coast and up and down the Columbia.
Yeah,
So,
agree.
yes,
Thank you. Thanks for the
thank
conversation.
you. Mhm.
Okay, let me check in with, well, first, let me ask if my fellow commissioners have any other questions or comments for the senator.
No, this is Commissioner Olson. Had a little technical difficulty this morning, but no, always glad to hear from the good senator. And I'm glad that she's got her arms around all these things because there's so much going on. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
I'm glad you were able to get on unmuted. I thought you were with us, Commissioner, but I'm glad you're unmuted. So how about Representative Javity? The good senator warned us that he might not be able to join us today, but we'll just check in for a second. Representative Javity? All right. Well, if not, we will move on in our agenda. Adventist Health Tillamook is not with us. Oh, I already said that. So let's move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. I don't think I got a message from them that they were not joining us.
I did not get a message either in the last couple times I've gotten an update, so I'm gonna guess that they're just awful busy this morning.
Okay. Well, then let's jump ahead to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Gail?
I'm good. How is everyone today? And thank you for this wonderful conversation. I do learn so much from these calls.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In Wheeler at the Nehalem Bay Health Center, there are no announcements this morning. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-368-5182. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Let's move on to the Tillamook Family Counseling Center. We have Frank Hanna Williams with us this morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This is good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I don't have any announcements this morning. I just want to say that if you have any questions or concerns about anything that we are providing in the community today, services, programs, appointments, you can reach us at 503-842-8201. And as I said, I don't have any specific announcements, but we'll be willing to take any information today. You could also reach us at, if you were calling on our 1-800 line, it'd be 1-800-962-2851. We have that 1-800 line, and it's seldom used. And so if you are outside of the city of Tillamook, you can reach us at that number. So again, I will take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Frank. I do have a question this morning. Over the weekend, I heard about an upcoming event that's titled Hope Fest, and it's the topic is suicide prevention. And someone sent me a flyer. The person who's organizing it is Amanda Farrat from the Tillamook County Suicide Prevention Coalition. And I wondered if that organization is under the umbrella of Tillamook Family Counseling Center. So I just thought I'd ask you.
I wouldn't exactly say it's under the umbrella. What I would say is that we certainly are partners with the Suicide Prevention Coalition, and we talk and we try to work together around coordinating our efforts in this particular area. So the Suicide Coalition here has received a grant over the past year from the Oregon, I believe it is the Oregon Coalition for the Prevention of Suicide, and that organization has a connection and a partnership with the Association of Community Mental Health Programs, of which Tillamook Family Counseling is a member. We know the staff, and there was a an effort on the part of our previous prevention coordinator to sort of coordinate an opportunity for the Suicide Prevention Coalition in Tillamook to get a grant to engage in a number of activities and promotion during this current year. And so that activity that you're speaking of, while it's not under the umbrella, there's a partnership, and so I want to describe it as that. As a matter of fact, we met last Friday to talk about a number of things. So that's the connection there.
Well, thank you. That it does help me understand the organization structure better. Thank you. The event that someone sent me the information for is, it looks like there are three times that they're going to do it. They're going to do it in South County, May 2nd at the Nestucca K-8 school from 4 to 8 p.m. In North County, May 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. at NCRD, North County Recreation District. And in Tillamook at Tillamook Bay Community College, Friday, May 17th from 3 to 8. They're going to have a QPR gatekeeper training, which you've talked to us about many times, Frank, and a resource fair and survivor storytelling. And it looks like it'll just be a wonderful, supportive events. These will be great events. And it looks like people can find out more event information about them on Facebook. And it's Tilco Suicide Prevention has a Facebook page and an Instagram account. And so I encourage people to reach out and get some more information. And it's such an important topic, and we talk about it. We've talked about it in this meeting about QPR training and being aware, thinking proactively about people we encounter and people in our lives, and are they safe? Do they seem unsafe? What can we say if we don't think they're safe? I was talking to a woman the other day who said she had attended a QPR training through Tillamook Family Counseling Center, and that one of the most helpful things she learned was to ask people if they had a plan. Like, if she's afraid that someone might harm themselves, do they have a plan to harm themselves? Because that's it's significant. And so I just wanted to talk about this and invite people to learn more about this Hope Fest event. And you wouldn't have to travel very far to do it, because they're going to have them in North, Central, and South County. And we could learn things that could save somebody's life someday. So thank you, Frank, for talking to me about that.
I appreciate your comments about that, and actually by having the comments be in this scenario of talking today, it really elevates the importance around all of the things that you mentioned. I think it's important that one of the questions that you highlighted of when someone is asking the question of do you have a plan, and I think what that does is it doesn't make the person who's listening a professional counselor or a doctor. What it does is that it elevates the level of concern around what that person may be doing, and sort of highlights, how can I be a neighbor? How can I be a friend to this person? Because if it gets to that level, it's moving towards a level of seriousness. So again, QPR is a chance to be able to ask and answer some important questions about how we can be caring towards our neighbors. So thank you for talking about this today.
Thank you, Frank. Commissioners, do we have any other questions or comments for Frank? If not, we'll say thank you and move on to the sheriff's office. Do we have Sheriff Brown this morning?
Good morning. I am here.
Good morning.
Good morning. The only update I have is just a reminder about our search and rescue banquet coming up May 18th. We now have tickets for sale in 2 locations. One is at our front office during normal business hours. You can also do it online, which is very convenient at event.gives/search 2024. We have tables for sale as well as individual admission, and we're starting to get our donations collected, and we should be posting a lot of our silent auction items fairly soon, and then people can start getting excited about it. So again, May 18th, and tickets are on sale now. So I can take questions, but that's all I have.
Thank you, Sheriff. I attended that event last year. I volunteered for it, and it was a terrific event. It was really well done. It was fun. The energy was great and uplifting, and it was heartening to see so many people supportive of search and rescue and supportive of law enforcement in our community. I thought it was outstanding.
Yep, it was a great event.
Any questions for the sheriff?
No questions, but just a quick comment. I think that your commissioners were servers last year, and I know that I've signed up to be a server this year. So I expect that my fellow commissioners may likely do that as well. So come out, and I'm sure there are other quote unquote celebrity servers as well, since this is a great event supported by a lot of volunteers. So hopefully we will see you all there.
Indeed. Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Do we have
Yeah.
Randy Thorpe today? Randy Thorpe for Emergency Management. I know Randy had some vacation time coming up, and I, to be honest, don't remember if he's on vacation today, but he might be. Okay, well, let's jump right into the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Scar, will you start us off?
Absolutely, thank you.
You're welcome.
So last week, we had our civic advisory meeting at Adventist Health, which all the commissioners sit on the civic advisory board. And I just want to highlight one of the activities that we did while we were there. We typically get to hear updates all across the hospital, but we have also been doing tours through various parts of the hospital. And this month we got to go over to the birthing center and actually see a demonstration of the neonatal robot. So I know that Eric's talked about this a little bit online, but I think it is such an important tool that our hospital has, and I want to make sure people know it's there. We have obviously a birthing center and great space. I actually had my daughter there 19 plus years ago. But one of the things they've added now is this neonatal robot. So when they have a birth that may be challenging, maybe they know it's going to be challenging, maybe they don't, maybe it's in an emergency situation, but they have a direct line to Dornbecker Children's Hospital, to a neonatal specialist doctor. So in the event that there is a challenging birth, that doctor is actually right there on a video screen, and there is a live camera that is pointed at that little infant, so that the doctor can actually take a look at what's happening, can watch the nurses in action, can provide them guidance as to things they should be doing to make this a better outcome for the child. And it's just, I mean, it was just an exciting piece. And I'll just share a quick personal story. When my daughter was born here, she wasn't breathing. And as the parents in the room, the new mother who's just gone through this really, birthing experience, it was terrifying to me. And one of the things that actually helped me feel better was one of the nurses that was there said, I have just come from being a neonatal nurse. I understand what to do. It's going to be okay. And there was a part of me that was able to just take a deep breath that I might not have been able to if someone wasn't able to say, I'm an expert and I'm with you. So I look at this neonatal robot and I think now every woman giving birth, every family in the room has the opportunity to have someone say, it's okay. I'm a neonatal expert and I'm with you. So I'm just super excited for our community that we have this on board. So it was fun to go and get a chance to see. We talked to the doctor. Obviously there was no baby involved, but we talked to the doctor and it was a really great experience. So knowing that we have quite a resource here in our local hospital. Most communities our size don't have a hospital and definitely don't have a neonatal expert on board, and we do. So just wanted to share that because I thought it was a really great thing for our community to know. Shifting gears significantly, I'm going to shift over to the Association of Oregon Counties Natural Resources Committee that I attended last week. We had a presentation from the Oregon Water Resources Department talking about a couple of different programs that they have. One of them two of them actually I want to highlight. One is that they are doing rulemaking around how they issue water rights. And this may seem like something that doesn't have any relevance to our North Coast, where we seem to always have too much water, but it does have significant relevance. We had wells running dry last summer. We had water districts and municipalities that were issuing restriction notices to their constituents and their customers because we were experiencing low water at a level we had not before. So we are in a position on the North Coast where water availability is something we need to have our eyes on, be paying attention to. And so as the Oregon Water Resources Department really starts looking at how they issue water rights, and more importantly, what's underneath that, as they're actually looking at available water. So it's really important that Tillamook County is in that conversation and partnering with them so that they understand that we are part of the conversation. So I was able to share that in the meeting, and they kind of, eyes widened and they said, seriously, the North Coast. And I said, yeah, seriously, Tillamook County has experienced water shortages. So they said, we're going to make a note of that. We're going to be reaching out to you because we think that is not on our radar, and it needs to be, along with the fact that Tillamook County water comes from a lot of small special districts. So these are important meetings to be in, important resources for us to be tapping into as a county. So I look forward to bringing that conversation into our community more fully. Couple other things. I attended the Bounty on the Bay event this last Saturday, which is the Tillamook Estuaries Partnership's annual fundraiser. Great event. And for anyone who's not familiar with the Tillamook Estuaries Partnership, you should check them out online. We have an estuary of national significance here in Tillamook County. Tillamook Bay and its surrounding areas are really, really important to the health of the estuary, to the health of our salmon. The funding that's raised there helps to restore areas around the bay and up into the rivers for fish habitat. So check them out if you have not. Great event. Lots of good information shared there. This weekend, I will be at the Coastal Conservation Association banquet, also another great organization that raises funds specifically to help restore fish habitat as well as support hatchery projects here in Tillamook County. If you are interested, I believe tickets are still available. You should be able to find them online at Coastal Conservation Association Tillamook branch. Going to be another great event. The last thing I want to do, I texted our treasurer, Sean Blanchard, to see if she had any comments she wanted to make about the budget hearing that's coming up or anything related to budget process. So I can see that she's on here. I'm going to give her a chance if she has any messages she'd like to share.
Good morning, Commissioner. I do not have anything to share other than the Budget Committee workshops will continue on May 8th, where we will be discussing two funds that are out of balance, the general fund and the TLT fund. And I encourage the community to either listen, come in and view the meetings, or reach out to me if they have any questions.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to dig just a little bit more into one budget comment that I am hearing in the community that I think we've talked a little bit about, but I want to make sure everybody understands. So we are not allowed to pass a budget that's out of balance. We have to have revenues to match our expenses. But I'm hearing the concerns about a deficit budget. So I want to address two things. One is that the budget that is currently on the table and being talked about is a proposed budget. That means that department heads went back to their departments in February and they thought about how can I do my best and most efficient work? What additions might make that more possible? And they brought all that forward to us as a beginning point. So as a beginning point, the proposed budget is out of balance. And that is true basically every year. I've been on the budget committee now for 2 years as a layperson and 3 years as a commissioner. This is my 4th year as a commissioner, and it's always out of balance when it begins. So I want to normalize that in terms of the community. If you are hearing that there's a terrible out of balance budget and how could we possibly do that? We do it every year. We begin with the budget we would most like to see, and then we have to work our way back to bring it into balance, which is the job of the budget committee, which is 3 lay people and the 3 commissioners. So I want to assure everyone that we are in the middle of a very normal process. It's a little more challenging this year because we are seeing huge amounts of increase due to the cost of living over the last 2 years. So we're grappling with that, which is challenging. We are also grappling with changes in timber revenue per the Habitat Conservation Plan and what the Department of Forestry has told us to expect into the future. So there's some additional pressures on it this year, but starting with a budget that has more expenses than revenue is not uncommon. So we're working through that process right now. We do hope people will join us. And I'm going to quote Commissioner Olson, who is our Budget Committee Chair. He is prone to saying, by June 30th, we will have a balanced budget. And we will, because we have to. That is not a choice that we get to make. We cannot pass a deficit budget like the federal government is able to do. We are, however, able to use revenues that we may have received in a prior year and use them in this year to balance the budget. And that has been a typical practice with our timber revenue, where we have some years that are really good, some years that are not as good. So we do have something called a revenue stabilization fund that we are able to use to balance out the lower revenue if we need to. Our challenge going forward is we expect not to have those good timber years, but as of now, we still have some in our revenue stabilization fund. So I just wanted to address that because I think there is some concern in the community, and I don't want people to think that the county is deficit spending in a long-term streak, because we're not able to. It's just not possible per our budget law. So thank you for letting me go down that bunny trail, and I will hand it back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thanks for the clarification about how we're not, in fact, out of balance in our current budget. And I agree with you that for the years that I've been attending the Budget Committee meetings, which is at least 15, because I was attending them way back when I worked for the Headlight Herald, it's always been described that way, like we're millions of dollars out of balance, but just as you said, we're not actually out of balance. We're out of balance only in the sense of what all the departments wish they had and what revenue we actually have don't match at the moment. So that's the work ahead.
Thank you. Yes, it is.
So, Commissioner Olson, would you like to jump in?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Commissioner. And again, sorry for the technical issue this morning. I thought maybe the county didn't pay its internet bill, but I guess we did. So we'll figure it out. While we're on the budget, and yes, I am the chair, and I've actually been on the Budget Committee now for upwards of 20 years, I guess, if I look back. And you're quite right. What was indicated is it always starts out with an ask that is bigger than the resources, but we always balance the budget, and because we have to, and simply that's the way to do business. Just by way of perspective, I will say the county's budget is upwards of $150 million annually. But of that amount, only about 30 to 35 million actually are in the general fund, over which the commission and the Budget Committee have quite a bit of discretion. For example, the health department, the parks, and a good number of others, the library, those have their own funding sources, and they balance their own budget. Now they're part of the bigger budget, but they receive resources, and those resources typically can be used only for things within that department. For example, the health department gets quite a number of grants, but they're to be used only for certain services that they deliver. So when you hear the county has a lot of money, indeed it does, $150 million is a lot, but we're talking about a $30 or $35 million budget. And as of the moment, we're out of balance about 2.4. And we will figure out a way to do that, because we don't spend money we don't have. So I'll just leave it at that. And we do have a meeting scheduled, as the treasurer said, I believe May 8th. Good chance we'll balance the budget then. If not, we'll have one additional meeting before we get to the start of the fiscal year, which is July 1. So much on the budget. Now, I wanted to mention the scams that Senator Weber mentioned. I probably get on my personal email upwards of 500 emails a week, maybe more. And a good share of those are scams. And they're telling me I'm past due on a bill with some organization that I've never heard of, or if I have heard of it, I haven't done any business there. And so I would just second what was said is you have to be very, very careful these days because these folks are exceedingly clever. And if you've ever had your name out in the public, which all of us who are elected to one thing or another or serve the public have, they find a way to get a lot of information and make it look pretty real. So be careful what you click on or what you agree to do, because there's a good chance somebody's trying to get into your purse or your wallet. So I'll just talk about a couple of other things. Tillamook Lightwave, which is our internet backbone provider, publicly owned through Tillamook County. We have a meeting earlier or later this morning, I should say, and we've received now official notice of a planning grant of $147,000. That will enable us to bring in some additional expertise, engineering-wise and otherwise, and apply for some much larger grants and get part of the almost 700 million that's at the state level from the federal government. And then we can extend fiber, help bring fiber to a lot of underserved areas in Tillamook County. The award of $147,000, there were 27 applicants and only 9 received the award, including Tillamook Lightwave. So that's a pretty good thing. So I'll be talking to the people who prepared all that this morning and thanking them, because they really did a very, very fine job, and we're getting paid for their work. So good for us and good for the citizens. Couple of other items. I also attended, as Commissioner Scarr pointed out, the demonstration at the hospital last week. And as she pointed out, there's some state-of-the-art stuff there. There's also an X-ray machine that is state-of-the-art that a doctor can actually write in real time, look inside your body and see what's going on and make appropriate corrections. Something that not too long ago, there would be a film that was produced and you'd hang it on a backlight device and look at it and then go off and do what you're going to do. So if you think our hospital is out of date, you would be wrong. There's some really, really high-tech, current state-of-the-art equipment there. And part of that is because Adventist is affiliated with the Adventist chain on the West Coast. I think there are 23 hospitals, and it's a multi-billion, dollar organization. So when you need capital improvements of tens of millions of dollars, sometimes it can be done. And if it were just a standalone hospital like it was a number of years ago, those things wouldn't be possible. So there is an advantage of being affiliated with a larger organization. The last thing I'll mention that I did last week as well, the county is aware of a number of issues going on with our special districts, primarily water and sewer. And so I'm arranging a meeting, I'm hoping sometime late next week or as soon as we can do it, to bring all the purveyors of water and sewer, including the cities, into a room. And I think we'll be at the library here in Tillamook. And I've also arranged for someone from Special Districts Association. I talked with the head person, a gentleman named Frank Stratton, whom I've known for quite a number of years. And he'll be sending over, he'll either come himself or send over 1 or 2 of their experts on solving these kinds of problems, including organization and retainage of board people and some of the technical side of getting into water issues and treatment issues and supply issues. And so we'll put all of us in the room and talk about some of the things going on. For example, one of our smaller JWSA, actually a Joint Water and Sanitary Authority, 3 of their 5 members very recently resigned. And so they're unable to function as a board and keep things moving forward. So we need to find some solutions, and the county is kind of the oversight and provider of last resort, and we certainly don't want to be in the business, but we can facilitate making something happen, and that's what we'll be doing over the next week or 2 or 3 or however long it takes. So we will solve those problems one way or another, because obviously people in Tillamook County cannot do without water or sewer. That's an essential service, as is electricity and now internet. So with that, Commissioner, I'll thank you for the time and move along.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, I appreciate my fellow commissioners' excellent reports. I think there's just a few other things I'd like to add because I've already talked quite a bit this morning. Yesterday, I got a call from DJ Josie, who he and his wife have the Josie's Farm stand on Wilson River Loop, which is excellent. If you haven't been there to buy produce or meat or eggs, you should go. And DJ is the new chair of the Tillamook Bay Flood Improvement District, and he called to talk to me about flooding on the Kilchis. We had an excellent conversation because the Kilchis has been flooding more in the past couple of years than it did previously. And the Flood Improvement District is very much interested in this, in why and what can we do to change that trend before the farmlands on the Kilchis and homes, et cetera, sustain more damage than they have already. There's been water and houses on the Kilchis in the last couple of years, the last couple of floods that had never flooded before. So something's changing. And so we had an excellent conversation about it. And I just wanted to publicly thank DJ for calling to talk to me about it, and also to publicly thank the Tillamook Bay Flood Improvement District for their long-term ongoing work to mitigate, prevent, deal with flooding in North Tillamook County. And so we commissioners will receive an invitation to come to one of their meetings, to a workshop in the near future to talk about this issue. And it was the sort of thing I've told you guys this before, that I'm the interim director of parks, and I'm working out of the office, the parks office at Barview Jetty. And the cell service in the building is terrible. So when I'm on the phone, I'm outside walking in circles around the building. So yesterday I was walking in circles around the building, talking to DJ, and I was just so grateful. It was one of those moments where I thought, I love this job. This is the best job in the world. You know, I was so grateful that he called me, that we're having this conversation. It's an important topic. We need to address it. We need to bring a whole group of people together to figure out what to do to move forward and fix this issue. And we can, we can participate in the solution, which is the best. So thanks again to DJ and to the Tillamook Bay Flood Improvement District. And I look forward to working with them on this issue. And another great conversation I had yesterday was with Sadie Walker, who wears many hats in our community, and one of which is she's the manager of the Tillamook Farmers Market. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to farmers market season again, and all the markets. People are, getting ready for market time. I think it's really when farmers markets started. I thought they were nice, but I couldn't have imagined how they would grow as an economic driver in our community to support local farmers and small producers and makers of things. And so it's really extraordinary now to walk around our farmers markets and see how much they participate in our economy. And not only that, of course, because it's also building community. People go to their market every week to see their friends, to listen to music, to buy some food, to buy their produce for the weekend or whatever. So it's building community, but it's also building the economy and providing a venue for lots of small bakers, small artists, small makers of things, makers of chocolates, makers of wine, or there are distilleries and of course farmers. And it provides an outlet for small farms that didn't for a long time didn't have an outlet. So it's just, I think farmers markets are very exciting, and I'm excited that we're headed toward that season. And I'll give you a brief update on parks. We are waiting the arrival of a new parks director who should start on May 6th. So that's very exciting. So we're getting ready for the season and getting ready for the new director. And so everybody's looking forward to that. So with that, I will jump to the cities. Do we have Mayor Stock from the city of Manzanita with us?
Commissioners, we have Linda Kozlowski, who's standing in for Mayor Stock, who is unable to
good morning.
attend.
Welcome.
Good morning. These are such great meetings. I always learn so much, and I just want to thank you, commissioners, for doing this. It's a wonderful way for the community to learn what's going on.
Thank you,
So a
Linda.
quick report. You're welcome. You're welcome. A quick report on Manzanita. Obviously, the best news is we have actually started construction on our city hall. It's been a long wait, but it's happening, and we are thrilled. So we're kind of monitoring step by step. There are a lot of steps to go. It won't be until 2025 until it's done, but we're just thrilled that we're moving forward. The last time I was on this call, we talked about our attempt to the council's attempt to outreach to the community to provide information, get feedback on a small group, kind of more personal level. We had our first Thursday event, Coffee with the City, this last Thursday, and it just was a great success. I was thrilled. We had about 15 people attend. The questions were great. We talked about everything from affordable housing to a comp plan revision, and it was just a great way to start. And we're looking forward to having those every third Thursday of every month. And so that's started and kicked off, and I believe it's been well received. The second is we are continuing our program of conversations with counselors, and that particular focus is much more topic specific. So we have a topic that we bring to these meetings, and we are looking to get input and really understand where the citizens are on this particular topic. This next series will be revenue diversification, and we're looking at the food and beverage tax, and that actually kicks off today at 10 a.m. at the Visitor Center. There's still room, so if somebody wants to attend, we'd love to have them come. The purpose is to share the research on the issue, get citizens' input. No decision has been made or will be made in the near future. It really is a chance to listen to the community and get their input. It's also a really good way to share how the city is funded. I think sometimes I'm listening to your budget issues, we go through the same thing. And the more the community understands about the budgeting process and the importance of the budgeting process, the better. So this is also an opportunity to get that out. We just passed our dark sky light ordinance citywide, and we're really happy about that. We're rolling it out. It is currently in process, and we're communicating as broadly as we can about dark sky, and it should really kind of help the city in terms of being able to see the stars at night and the joy and value of being in a rural community. The dark sky lighting really helps that a lot. There may be a referendum on our water bill. We just updated our system and increased our water rates after 10 years of remaining the same with our new billing system. It's more efficient to bill monthly. It allows our community to better manage their payment, and it provides an opportunity for water conservation. We had previously been billing quarterly, and currently 5 out of 7 cities in Tillamook bill monthly. The referendum is to return to quarterly billing. So I don't think we'll be voting on that until November, but that's the process has started. We also recently had lunch with the mayors. The mayors of Garibaldi, Rockaway Beach, and Wheeler were there. And it's just a great way to share information and best practices and understand what the other cities are doing. And it's just a very productive meeting. Personally, I learn a lot in these meetings. Manzanita shared our master fee schedule and our job description of our code enforcement officer this time. And I'd like to end this report with really good news. We heard from Senator Weber that the governor signed the $2.7 million funding to improve our water delivery system, and which allows us to move forward with both affordable housing and workforce housing. And we're just thrilled, and we really appreciate Senator Weber passing that on. So that's the end of my report, unless there are questions.
Well, I'm cheering in my mind for that news. That is great news. Thank you for sharing.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. You know, it's so exciting to just to think there's going to be workforce housing in Manzanita, in North Tillamook County. It's really, really great news.
It really is. Thank you, Commissioner Bell.
You're welcome. Thanks for your report. I'm going to tell you a short, funny story about Dark Sky. I lived in Manzanita. I was lucky enough to live in Manzanita for a short period of time when I was a new commissioner, until I moved from Manzanita when my mom needed to come live with me, and it wouldn't have worked in the house I was in. But anyway, I loved living in Manzanita. And while I was there was the house next to mine was sold, and the folks it was a second home for the people who bought it, which was great. And they put up all kinds of security lighting. And so they put up this outside security lighting and left it on. And then they were gone because they didn't live there full time. They were gone for weeks and weeks with this crazy intense spotlight shining into my house. And the houses were close together, so it was shining directly into my bedroom, directly into my kitchen. It was really disturbing and aggravating, and I didn't have any way to get a hold of them. And it went on for weeks, and I got more and more disgruntled about it. And there was some point where I thought, you know, how bad would it be if I put a ladder up on the side of the house and just unscrewed that one light bulb, and then explained it, of course, when they came back. And I thought, surely if you do that, there will also be security cameras. And the next thing you know, it's going to be videos of Commissioner Bell unscrewing somebody's light bulb. So I didn't do it, but I totally support your dark sky commitment, and I think dark skies make for better neighbors.
I do too. We've actually had some instances like that, and that would no longer happen, Commissioner Bell. So you would be safe today.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, well, we'll move on to do we have anybody from the city of Nehalem or Wheeler? About Rockaway Beach, do we have Mayor McNeely?
Good morning. It's Mayor McNeely from Rockaway Beach. Glad
Good
to
morning.
be here. I'll start by thanking Representative Javadi for spending time in Rockaway Beach to learn about our projects and priorities. We genuinely appreciate his visit, and I will say we've had Senator Weber here a few months ago and appreciated her taking time to come and visit us. Work on building a source water protection plan continues. City Manager Shepard submitted a letter of interest to the Oregon Health Authority to pursue funding for forest stewardship planning, timberland appraisal, timberland inventory, and other due diligence expenses. And our citizen committee, the Source Water Protection Plan Development Advisory Committee, will hold its inaugural meeting on April 29th. Melissa Thompson, our city recorder, completed Portland State University's 12-week Building Cyber Resilience Professional Certificate Program and earned her certification. And so we're pleased to have that kind of skill set resident in our City Hall staff. I'm particularly pleased to say that all of the no access beach signs have been removed. Thanks to the work that the legislature did in the short session. Hopefully they will come up with a permanent fix in the next session. Oregon Parks and Recreation Department approved our permit for the Wayside Beach Access Project, which will provide enhanced beach access with a ramp and stairs at the wayside. So our community is just thrilled about this project, probably kick off late summer, early fall. And then I'll close by thanking the mayors who do come together for lunch and discussion. You know, it's good to chat with folks who share many of the same challenges. With that, back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad that you're having the mayor's meetings. I think that's terrific. All right. Do we have somebody from the city of Garibaldi? Do we have Mayor Findling?
Hi, Commissioner. This is Leanne Welch, who has been appointed as City Manager Pro Tem.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Good morning. So yes, the City of Garibaldi has hired me as the City Manager Pro Tem for a 3-month period.
That's
And
fabulous.
What they want me to focus on is the budget, as we talked. I've heard all of you talking about the budget. Garibaldi also, has an unbalanced budget at this time, and so we're going to be working very hard to figure that out, and then work on getting these audits updated. And then my full, really looking at is hiring a full-time qualified city manager. So I expect in the next 2 weeks that we'll be advertising for that. On April 25th, ODOT has their bid opening for the highway project in downtown Garibaldi, which is going to include replacement of some water sewer lines, new ADA accessible sidewalks, ramps, and pavement. So that's going to be a big impact on traffic this summer. So I'll be working with ODOT on traffic control and all that. So are there any questions for the city of Garibaldi? If not, I'm going to move in.
Are you moving right into the Bay City report? Well, before we move on to Bay City, let me just say, I'm thrilled that you're the city manager pro tem for Garibaldi. I did not know that. I think that's a wonderful move for Garibaldi, and I'm grateful that you're willing to do it.
Thank you very much. It certainly will have its challenges, and so I think me and the staff will be working together to, get this ship going in the right direction, and that's what we need to do. So yes, I'm going to move right into Bay City. So I'm going to put my mayor hat on. So Bay City had a successful State of the City event this last Saturday, where we shared with all of our citizens what was happening in Bay City amongst all departments, between planning, fire department, and a lot of our volunteers. In fact, Hilda and Gary Frey were nominated as Volunteers of the Year. Really appreciate what they're doing. This morning, we're having coffee with the mayor here at 9:30 at the City of Bay City. So anybody who wants to come and talk with me about anything happening in Bay City, please come on by. We've got coffee and treats. As similar with all we talked about is our water budget is unbalanced here in Bay City. So we're going to also be looking at our water rates and the water structure, similar to what every other small municipality and what Commissioner Olson was talking about is the issues with that. The other thing is that David McCall, our city manager, and I will be headed to Klamath Falls the rest of this week for the League of Oregon Cities conference down in Klamath Falls. So a lot going on between the two little cities, and very excited to be able to be part of that. So if you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Leanne? If not, thank you for your service, and we will move on to the City of Tillamook.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, Nathan.
This is Nathan. Good, thank you. Yes, I do have several things. Thank you very much. First of all, I need to get the right place here. In our police department, Lieutenant Troxel, who is now our interim chief of police, he was the acting chief of police, and now that we don't have a chief of police, he is the interim chief of police. He attended the Oregon Chiefs of Police Association annual conference last week, representing the city of Tillamook and our police department. This conference is well attended by chiefs and other law enforcement executives across the state of Oregon. This is an excellent training, networking, and fellowship opportunity. Sergeant Harold attended a demonstration of a new device to safely identify narcotics. This new technology allows our officers to test, identify drugs without removing them from the packaging, eliminating the potential of exposure to the drug. This demonstration was organized by our Tillamook County Sheriff's Office, and we want to thank them for their work on this. Code Enforcement Officer Moreland continues to train, learn, and settle into his new position. Sergeant Harold Officer Moreland worked this week on many different topics this past week. I'm just really excited. Our new Code Enforcement Officer, Kenny Moreland, is doing an excellent job and really working to get a lot of things caught up and moving forward. The School Resource Officer also continues to work on the Every 15 Minutes program with the Tillamook High School, and more information will be shared in the future. In the Public Works Department, the Water Distribution and Water Treatment Divisions have taken a proactive step to increase the capacity of water by cleaning sediment from the Fawcett Creek intake pond. This effort ensures the optimal storage of water and addresses potential challenges posed by sediment and debris accumulation. For those you don't know, we have two water intakes, which is Killam Creek and Fawcett Creek, both online. And this work here on this one is really helpful. There's a lot of work that goes into all of our divisions, but water has quite a bit, as well as it extends miles and miles outside the city. The City of Tillamook is thrilled to host its annual Touch a Truck event on Tuesday, May 7th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. This unique, family-friendly event, held in celebration of Public Service Recognition Week, allows children and adults to explore a variety of public service vehicles up close. We invite you to join us for this event, located on Laurel Avenue between 1st Street and 3rd Street in front of City Hall and the County Courthouse. Now, it's always a great turnout, and we really enjoy it. The Streets and Parks divisions, in coordination with the Water Distribution team, are scheduled to conduct a cleaning operation in Hochorden Park. We ask our park and trail users to be cautious and considerate of crews and equipment during this time. Arbor Day, a significant event that originated in 1872 in Nebraska, has now become a celebrated tradition in Tillamook and across the globe. In Oregon, our state forester, Cal, let's see if I say this right, Ukamoto, has designated April as Oregon Arbor Day, a proclamation supported by our city council. This year, we're celebrating Arbor Day on April 25th. One requirement to obtain the Tree City USA status is to hold an annual Arbor Day celebration, and this will entail a tree planting ceremony at Hochorden Park. Just for fun, I actually went to grad school in Nebraska, and at one point got to go to the state capitol and represent the city I was working for at that time, and meet the governor and get our award. So that was pretty cool, being from the state that actually started Arbor Day. Earlier this week, the Water Distribution Division effectively repaired a water leak on a service line. The City of Tillamook, alongside the Tillamook Revitalization Association, the Tillamook Greater Area Chamber of Commerce, are collaborating to install decorative banners throughout the town. That is a Tillamook Revitalization Association initiative, but we are all working together to do that, and those are really nice looking banners. I think everyone's going to really like those. Reminder that since 1970, residents have been responsible for maintaining their private sewer ladder lines and fixing them. And residents have up to a year now, with possible extensions for additional 6 months, to test and fix their systems. So the city is mailing out ordinance violations a little bit of time. We're just focused on a few at a time. And we'd like to encourage everyone to also sign up for Sewers Line Warranties of America, which is a policy that can help you with that. And we have information online or at City Hall, and we can help you out with that if you have questions. Tomorrow, the city administration offices will be closed for an in-service day. This is a new program that I am implementing to help our city get projects caught up. Due to a lack of resources on both our employees and revenues, we are barely able to keep up with just daily tasks. We have an enormous number of backlogged projects and items, one of which is document management. Unfortunately, the city has never complied with the state's record retention schedule, and since my arrival as city manager, we've been putting information technology infrastructure in place to handle this, and we've been successful at getting a lot of our electronic files sorted and properly archived, though we have a ways to go still. However, the paper files have been piling up for decades and need addressed. This program will occur monthly for a day or two. And while our administrative offices will be closed, if someone comes and needs assistance, we will still assist them, and nobody will be turned away. We'll just have a day to be able to focus more internally. And that's just necessary because we don't have a lot of staff and resources. We have several positions available at City of Tillamook, including our Public Works technicians. We have a planning technician. We have a Public Works Street Division supervisor. And as I had said last week, we also look forward to having our police chief and project manager / engineer position being posted in the near future. So please visit our website or stop by City Hall for an application. Reminder, if you see something, say something. They call 911 for emergencies, dispatch for non-emergencies. And our next regular council meeting will be held just shy of 2 weeks, which will be Monday, May 6th at 7 p.m. We encourage everyone interested in your local government to attend virtually or in person. And that's all I have. Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nathan. Any questions for Nathan? Well, if not, I will thank KTIL for broadcasting. Thanks everyone for participating, and thank you everyone for listening. This meeting is adjourned at 9:19 a.m.